will really believed in old camera legends, but what happened to me last year made me a believer. I love collecting vintage things, especially old tech. I found this beautiful heavy 1980s Panasonic VHS Camcorder at a garage sale for just $5. The seller looked nervous when he sold it to me, but I didn't care. It looked perfect on my shelf, a piece of history, but history has a way of repeating itself, and this camera made a mind of its own. One rainy Tuesday night, I decided to test the camcorder. I popped in a blank of the analog aesthetic. The camera was set up on a tripod across from my bed. The only light was a small lamp by my bedside. I fell asleep quickly, the gentle hum of the tape recording comforted me, but what the tape captured was far from comforting. The next morning, I eagerly connected the camera to my old TV to watch the footage. The screen flickered with static and tracking errors, typical of old tapes. For the first 2 hours, nothing happened. It was just footage of me sleeping with heavy film grain and a reddish color cast. But then, around 3:15 a.m., the time code on the tape started to glitch. The numbers jumped backward and forward, and the image distorted. A few seconds later, I saw something that made me freeze. In the corner of my room, where the shadows were deepest, a figure slowly started to emerge. It was a woman. Very tall and thin, wearing an old-fashioned white nightgown. Her long black hair was covering her face. A few seconds later, I saw something that made me freeze. In the corner of my room, where the shadows were deepest, a figure slowly started to emerge. It was a woman, very tall and thin, wearing an old-fashioned white nightgown. Her long black hair was covering her face. She was perfectly still, staring directly at me as I slept. The terrifying part was how she moved. She didn't walk. She glided across the room with jerky, unnatural motions. She stopped beside my bed. She slowly bent down, her hair falling around her face. I could see her eyes through the hair in the blurry footage. They were completely black voids. She started to mimic my sleeping form. She lay down on the floor next to my bed, positioning her body exactly like mine. She even started to imitate my breathing pattern. It was the most disturbing thing I have ever seen a mimic of my own life. The footage then started to display severe found footage degradation. The color would wash out and the image would break up into digital blocks. In one brief, clear movement, the woman reached out with the ground hand and touched my arm through the blankets. The screen immediately glitched and I could not see my own reaction. When the tape became clear again, the woman was standing by the camera, looking straight into the lens. Her face was inches away from the lens. Through the static, I could see a wide, unhuman smile stretching across her pale face. Her jaw was unhinged, looking like it did not belong to a human. This is a leaked clip I am showing you today. It lasts only 3 seconds before the entire tape is consumed by magnetic field distortion and static. When I watched this, I ran back to my room. My room was empty, but the tripod was unknocked over. The VHS tape was missing from the camera. I checked my apartment doors and windows. They were all locked. I realized the entity was not the physical intruder, it was something that lived within analog signal itself. It was a memory, a shadow, a mimic trapped in the magnetic tape looking for a way out. I was its target. I immediately destroyed the camcorder and a broken tripod, but it was too late. The mimic had already copied my likeness. Now I start seeing her in other screens. Sometimes when I look at the mirror, her face is there for a fraction of a second, smiling that same wide smile. The most terrifying part is when I use my phone camera. In the reflection of the glass, I see a woman standing right behind me. This entity has a name in the analog world and a chromatic mimic. They infect all recording devices feeding on the fear captured in the grain. The grainy, imperfect quality of analog video provides the perfect cover for them to hide. They are not ghosts. They are closer to sentient, corrupted data. And now I have become a part of its data. I am sharing this because I want to be careful with vintage electronics. Don't buy old cameras or recordings equipment from strangers. You don't know what kind of memories are trapped inside. The entity in this clip did not stay on the tape. It used the visual signals of jump into my reality. It's a psychological horror that is now my everyday life. If you have seen a leaked clip, you might think it's just a digital error or a prank. But look closely at the eyes. No human can mimic that void. I am still haunted by the sight of my own arm being touched by that creature. I don't sleep with the lights off anymore. Every shadow looks like her, and every screen is a window into her world. I feel like a mimic is getting stronger. The other day, I heard my own voice calling my name from the other room. It was flat and emotionless, just like her breathing. I am trapping in a reality. This is slowly being rewritten by an analog shadow. I don't think I can ever erase its data from my life. It's patient, waiting for me to break. Sometimes I still hear the gentle hum of the VHS record from that fateful night. It's faint, but I know it's her. She's waiting for me to forget. She's waiting for me to pick up another old camera. She's persistent, unwanted passenger in my digital life. I'm sharing this so that my case file will not be forgotten. Thank you for listening to my story tonight. Keep your all devices unplugged. If you see static on your TV, don't look too closely. You might see a tall woman glitched inside, waiting for you. This is Horror Wink. Stay safe, stay in the light, and remember, the shadows have lies. The shadows have eyes, and they are always recording. Good night, and don't forget to keep your memories analog.